Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you would please stand for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please pray with me if you'd like to. Almighty God, as we gather this evening to conduct the public's business, we are reminded that leadership is not about authority, but about service. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve the residents of St. Lucie County and the trust they've placed in us. Lord, grant this board wisdom to make thoughtful decisions and the courage to address the difficult challenges. Help us to see beyond today's agenda and remain focused on building a stronger, safer community for the future generations. We also ask for your blessings upon our employees, first responders, and all the residents of St. Lucie County. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I need an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This evening we are joined by a very special group. We have a presentation by the Boys and Girls Club for the State Youth of the Year. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I am Marissa Gleckler. I'm the Chief Development and Communications Officer for Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County. I know you're probably used to hearing from our CEO, Will Armstead, but unfortunately he couldn't be here tonight, but he sends his best. I want to first talk to you about some things that are going on in our clubs, but first remind you of our mission, which is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. And our vision is to provide a world-class club experience that assures success is within reach for every young person who enters our doors. And right now we're doing that within 30 clubs throughout our county. We're serving over 2,500 members every single day, and we're reaching record-breaking membership numbers this summer as well, which we're very proud of. Every member that comes through our doors receives a meal when they're at our clubs, and we also operate multiple food pantries in a few of our sites. Thanks to the funding that we received from the county, we are able to level up our programming this past year and serve record number of youth and teens. We've also been able to use those county dollars to leverage within the philanthropic community, which has amplified our mission and strengthened our programs. And there's a few programs outside of our regular programming that I wanted to point out to you, which is our summer internship program, our pre-apprenticeship program, and our mobile club. So the first is our summer internship program. We actually run two partnerships within this program. The first is a partnership that we have with the Economic Development Council's 501c3 TC Seed, as well as St. Lucie Public Schools. I see you have one of our interns sitting up here tonight, so that makes me very happy to see. This summer, we were able to increase the number of teens that participated, and we had 61 teens placed within businesses throughout our county, where they're gaining real-world experience as well as gaining a real paycheck. And they're also participating in programs at our clubs every week that complement what they're learning in the internship, so financial literacy, soft skills, and things of that nature. The second partnership that we have for a summer internship program is with CareerSource Research Coast through their Summer of Success program. We have placed 13 teens in roles throughout our organization in departments like HR, operations, and food services. The second program that I wanted to point out to you is our pre-apprenticeship program. We are so excited to say that we have graduated two cohorts through this programming, meaning that 32 teens have earned their certifications in OSHA 10, CPR first aid, scissor lift and high reach, among others within electrical, HVAC, carpentry, and plumbing. And this is with a partnership with Florida Training Services, where they provide 144 hours of certified training to get these teens real resume building certifications that they can go out and get jobs with after high school. And then the third program that I wanted to point out is our mobile club program, which is run with a partnership with the city of Port St. Lucie, where we are currently operating in local parks around the city in areas where students might not have access to a traditional clubhouse setting. Since its inception in 2022, we've served over 16,000 youth and their family members And what's unique about this program is that the family members, the parents, grandparents, caretakers get involved in the programming, in that they're there at the park when it's happening, so they're able to bring that programming home with them, which is very exciting. I also want to point out that this is an award-winning program, and we've received a national award from Boys and Girls Clubs of America for this program, and we hope to expand it into other parts of the county in the future. And now I have the privilege of introducing our Director of Alumni Engagement, Rashida Ahmed.
Hello, good evening, Commissioners. It is a privilege and an honor to be here to speak before you all. And I have the opportunity to share a little bit about our Youth of the Year program, which I know that majority of you all are very familiar with. But our Youth of the Year is the highest honor that any club member can receive. And with that particular program, it focuses on character and leadership. And it is a year-round program that we offer for all of our teen programs across our county. And we are super excited because St. Lucie County, and I like to state this, St. Lucie County has had a state winner 3 out of the last 5 years, with our first ever in our entire history of the county of having a Southeast Regional Youth of the Year winner, which you all will have the privilege to hear from in just a second, in which he would have the opportunity to compete at Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the national competition in New York on October 1st. And so without further ado, I know you all are wanting to hear him. And for me to move out the way, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing our Southeast Regional Youth of the Year recipient, Enrique Rosario Liz.
Good evening. Thank you so much. It is always such a privilege to be here. And again, just thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for having our backs with Boys and Girls Clubs always. I mean, I'm standing here representing our county, of course, but as Ms. Rashida mentioned, the Southeast region, and it has been so exciting, and without your support, I would certainly not be standing here with that title today. So without further ado, I will be presenting my Youth of the Year speech, which has gracefully and blessedly so gotten me the title of the Southeast region, in which I will be presenting in New York in October. 10 minutes. The walk from my house to my club is 10 minutes. From the road, you can see those blue club doors like a sign that you're going right where you belong. Though I no longer walk to my club, those doors are still like a lighthouse, guiding me into my community. Before I take each and every one of you through those doors, let's take a step back to almost 10 years ago, when I first earned the title of immigrant. After moving to the US, I quickly felt like I was different. I was standing in a sea of kids who spoke perfect English, instantly connecting with their friends, while I had none. I felt alone, excluded, forgotten. No words, not English, not Spanish, could ever explain that feeling. As I grew up, that feeling grew with me, seeping into every aspect of my life. I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to lose my Hispanic name. I stopped speaking Spanish. Most of all, I craved academic validation, and the pressure to ace every exam, excel in every class, and be better than everyone else was overwhelming. My life became a competition, and I needed to win. I was 12 years old when I first walked through those blue club doors. Months before that, I had been diagnosed with a mild anxiety disorder and intrusive thoughts. Finally, I had a name for that feeling of always needing to be more. Working with my anxiety, I was ready to take the next step, and so I walked through those blue club doors. The club was my lighthouse. After years of being in the dark, it became my community. It's through Keystone that I strengthened my leadership skills and become active in my community. It's through Voices and the support of my club staff that I've reconnected with who I am. That 12-year-old is now his school's valedictorian and a proud future Gator at the University of Florida. And now, with my very own Youth of the Year experience, I have my very own Spanish program where, yes, I teach Spanish, but I also get to create a safe space for the next generation of club kids. And when I look at the over 40 students I've taught, I don't just see their potential. I see an 8-year-old me, proud to know that I'm sharing the language and the culture that I was once so ashamed of. So, 10 minutes. Sometimes exactly what we need is only 10 minutes away. For me, that was my club. The community that gave me an opportunity to be a kid, a club kid. For the millions of American youth like me, I want them to have the same opportunities to just be kids. And that starts with educational resources, caring educators, a community, a country that cares. And now, I am so proud to say que yo soy Enrique Rosario Liz. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's it? Yes. Oh my gosh, you're just going to leave us like that? I'm teary-eyed over here. Oh my gosh. So I'm just going to say what also a privilege and an honor it has been to watch Enrique literally grow up. You're an amazing young man, and you're exactly what we strive for at Boys and Girls Club. So thank you. Thank you to everyone, Will, Rashida, Marissa, Sean, everyone that's part of the team, everyone that's not here. Thank you for everything that you guys do, because you guys fill a vital gap in the community after school until parents get home, and we don't know what we'd do without you guys, so thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Charlie.
I am one of those people that don't like to pass out public money, but when I heard what the Boys and Girls Club does in St. Lucie County, 2,500 children a day you touch, those 2,500 would be on the street, and no telling how much money they would cost the county in police and jail and so on and so forth. So I'm proud to say that I support the Boys and Girls Club, and I am definitely proud of Enrique for doing what you have, and I wish you well in the future. Anything we could do, we are here for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric, can we do a picture?
Yeah.
Thank you. And we have some Boys and Girls Club members. You want to come up for the picture also? Me? Yeah. Hold on one second, Eric. Okay. Yeah, it's Rebecca's coming up. Oh, here, I'll come this way. Here, come this way. There you go.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we will move on to public comment. At this time, anyone wishing to address the board, please come up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes. Provide us with your name, address.
How you guys doing? Nicholas Burgos, 918 Southwest California Boulevard, Port St. Lucie. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Nicholas Burgos. I'm here tonight as a St. Lucie County resident, business owner, prior military veteran, and a public servant. This is not personal. This is not about a title, a seat, or an election. This is about residents who are barely holding on. If Homestead Act passes, I want to know what the plan is, and this is what many residents are asking. What is going to be the plan? Are county residents going to receive the tax credit that they deserve? And our county commissioner is going to vote for pulling that out in some other way? Residents are tired. We're tired of higher costs, overcrowded roads, infrastructure, lack of infrastructure. We're tired of watching leaders argue on live TV. So my question tonight is simple. If the homestead exemption is passed, what is the board's plan to make that relief through higher fee? What is the plan? What is the board's plan to get the money back? Is it through new bills. So tonight, I'm asking this board to show residents the plan. Don't just talk about it, don't just tell us you support it. There's prior military veterans, there's individuals that are just barely holding on. What is the plan that you have? Will you stick to it? And before you ask another dollar out of the taxpayers, will you go line by line and make sure that there's no over expenditures? Thank you.
Thank you. We're still under public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board under public comment? Seeing no movement, I'm going to close public comment. And I need an approval of the minutes for the June 2nd meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. With that, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, can I ask a
Commissioner
question
Townsend?
of the
Sure.
county attorney, please? Ms. Barberi, with the approval of the minutes and it stating in there what we're going to rectify later on, does that change anything for the approval of the minutes, since that's going to change?
County Attorney Kathy Barbieri, no ma'am, it'll be reflected, my regular agenda item will be reflected in today's minutes.
All right, thank you.
Great. All right, so first up under public hearings, we have Planning and Development Services for Indrio Groves, both the rezoning and the PUD development. I do believe they are going to be asking for a continuance. With that being said, it is still quasi-judicial, so Commissioner Klasky, I'll start with you for disclosures.
As this is a continuance, my disclosures are the same as the previous meetings.
Commissioner Lowry?
I've got a list here. Leslie Olson, District Planning, Bob Rains, Greg with Lennar Homes, Ben and Corey from staff. Same things discussed.
Likewise, I am Leslie Olson, Cynthia Angelos, Bob Rains, Craig Pettibon, Dave Canfield, Hal Melville, various residents, and our planning and development staff.
And I am Leslie Olson, Richard Carnell, Mike Wiles, Stan Beard, and staff.
And I have recused myself from this. I'll be recusing myself tonight. I do need to ask a question of the county attorney. Ms. Barberi, do I need to leave the dais and come back, or is it okay for me to stay?
You can leave, it's your choice, you can leave or you can sit there, obviously, and not, we would request you not speak.
Okay, thank you. All right, Irene, you have the floor.
Yes, good evening, Chair Fowler, members of the Board of County Commissioners. This is the Indrio Groves rezoning and preliminary development plan application. The applicant has requested that the item be tabled, not continued, tabled. The difference being it will be renoticed when a future meeting date of the BOCC is determined.
Thank you. All right, and with that, I'll come back to the board. Is there a motion to approve?
It's a
the
public
tabling?
hearing.
Public hearing in case
Oh,
there's-
yes. Thank you, thank you. With that being said, even though this is going to be tabled to a date unknown at this time, anyone wishing to address the board on Indrio Groves is more than welcome to do so at this time. You would come up to the podium, and we'll give you 3 minutes. Good evening.
Hi, my name's Steve Kellerman. Excuse me, I got dentures. I don't talk too good. Live in Smash Lake Fairways. And I was just wondering, all these developments are going to require an increased demand in services, water, sewer, electric, police, fire, and other costs because of the additional demand. Is the developer going to incur those costs, or the taxpayers of St. Lucie County? You know, did I say that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, you did. So I'll refer back to,
Go sit down.
yes, sir. So what I'll do is come back to that. We'll answer that in just a second. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on Embryo Groves at this time?
Shelbert Sugar. I'm going to yield my time to Justin Harrison.
Okay.
Well, glad to hear that it's being tabled. Justin Harrison, 6705 Paso Robles Boulevard. This kind of pertains to not just Indrio Grove, but the area of Indrio Road. So, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Justin Harrison. I want to start by saying I'm not against growth. Growth is coming whether we like it or not. But there's a big difference between planned growth and just random growth. Tonight, I don't want to talk about 2026. I want to talk about 2056, because that's when decisions you make tonight will truly be judged. The urban service boundary was created to stop growth. It was created to ensure infrastructure comes first before development follows. If we're willing to approve urban density projects outside of the boundary, then I have to ask, what is the purpose of having the boundary at all? My biggest concern is traffic. Traffic studies tell us what engineers think will happen, but history tells us what will actually happen. Why aren't we comparing this project to communities that looked exactly like North St. Lucie County 20 or 30 years ago? Places that started with 2-lane roads, minimal traffic, and plenty of capacity, that today sit bumper to bumper, traffic every morning, every afternoon. History is the best traffic study we have. If we're not learning from communities that have already made these mistakes, then we're setting ourselves up to repeat them. And I also want to remind everyone, we live in Florida. Almost every year we face hurricanes, evacuations, floodings, or other declared states of emergency. Traffic isn't just about getting to work on Monday mornings, it's about getting families out safely when it matters most. Excuse me. Just this past 4th of July, my wife spent nearly an hour traveling from Tradition Town Square to Crosstown Parkway, a drive that normally takes 5 minutes. I understand holiday traffic is unique, but it shows how quickly our road network can be overwhelmed. So my question is, are we designing this area so it doesn't become the next bottleneck during evacuation emergency? I also want to talk about something else we can't afford to overlook. Every time we approve another large development, we aren't just changing the map, we're changing an ecosystem. The wildlife that calls this land home doesn't simply disappear. It gets pushed into neighboring communities, onto our roads, into our neighborhoods. And then there's water. We live in Florida. Water has always been one of our greatest resources and one of our greatest challenges. Every acre we pave changes the way water moves, how it drains, where it collects, and how it affects the communities around it. So are we planning for the next development, or are we planning for the long-term health of our land, our water, and the people who live 50 years from now? Because once the land is changed, once the habitat is gone, once the concrete is poured, there's no putting it back to the way it was. Are we approving one development, or are we approving everything that follows? Because once one project crosses the line, the next one becomes easier, and long before the expectations become the rule. I also want to talk about something we don't discuss enough, how we're designing these neighborhoods. As just one example, many of these new communities have tiny driveways that don't fit the way families actually live. Today it's common for a household to have 3-4 vehicles. So where are they supposed to go? They end up in the streets because the HOAs they create tell you can't block sidewalks, you can't park here, you can't park there. That affects emergency vehicles, school buses, garbage trucks, public safety. So I have to ask, is this the kind of community people are asking for, or is it simply that they're forced to accept because it's more effective and more profitable to build? If families can't park the vehicles they own on the property they purchased, who are these neighbors really being designed for? I think that's what the bigger question we need to ask. At what point do we stop building communities around the bottom line and start building them around the people that actually have to live there? At what point do people actually get to simply enjoy the property they work their entire lives to own? Commissioners, we're not just approving homes, we're deciding what kind of county we're living in for the next generation. Good planning isn't measured by how many homes are approved, it's measured by whether children thank us for the decisions we've made 30 years from now. Growth is inevitable, poor planning is optional. Because once concrete replaces the countryside, there's no undo button. Thank you.
Thank you. Still under public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board? Seeing no movement, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Glassby.
I motion to table this item indefinitely.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And Madam Chair,
Commissioner Lee.
I'd like to restate my contacts, and I read off the wrong page. Bob Raines, Leslie Olson, Dave Canfield, Greg Pettibon, Troy Holloway, and staff.
Thank you. Number 2 item for the developer agreement.
Commissioner Clasby?
Madam Chair, my disclosures are the same as the previous continued meetings.
Mine are the same as well.
Likewise, mine are the same as the previous item.
Yeah, and mine are the same.
And I'm recusing myself.
Yes, and Commissioner Townsend's recusing herself. This also is a public hearing item. This would be for the developer agreement. Anyone wishing to address the board on this item? Seeing no movement, and close public comment, come back to the board. Is
Madam
there
Chair,
motion?
I motion to table this item indefinitely.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Alco Groves. That has already requested a continuance. Since it already printed with the continuance, okay. I'm sorry. Do we need to open that one up for public comments?
We do it as a public hearing, and it was published
Okay.
with July 21st, but the applicant is requesting a revised date of August 4th.
Okay. All right, so the third item under planning and development, the Alco Groves conditional use permit, they are also requesting a continuance. So if there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak now on this item, now would be your time. Hi, Mr. Kellerman.
Yes, does my original question of who bears the cost of the additional demand for these developments apply to this one too?
That question I will have staff answer as soon as we get through this vote for this one here. Yes, sir. Or, I'm sorry, yes, different item, but yes, we'll make sure staff addresses that question for you. Anyone wanting to address the board on Alco Mines? Seeing no movement for that item, come back to the board. Is there a motion?
Motion to continue this item to August 4th at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Corey, would you be able to answer per our code, with this being outside the USB, who's responsible for bearing the cost for utilities, roads, and all of those things?
Certainly, Madam Chair, members of the board, for the Indro Groves project in particular, which was proposed outside of the urban service boundary, we have a series of land development code guidelines that address public facilities and evaluating a proposal in regards to their impacts or demands on public facilities, whether it's water, wastewater, schools, libraries, emergency response, parks and recreation, you name it. So our staff begins with collaboration with the Development Review Committee, evaluating the proposed development with regards to the various public facilities, and evaluate what to the extent that the project would need to mitigate or make improvements, building new roadways, allocating land for school sites, on-site parks and recreation, or to the extent that they would pay impact fees to supplement those impacts to public facilities. But as you mentioned, the Land Development Code for hamlets in particular, which Indro Groves is proposed as, the Land Development Code says regarding public facilities, the hamlet PUD shall be designed so that there will be no net public cost for the provision of water lines, sewage lines, stormwater, and surface drainage systems and other utility systems. So the cost to extend and provide that infrastructure would be the burden of the developer. As to their demands on the overall supply of water, that's more of a market and supply-demand consideration, and to what extent that changes marginal cost and marginal revenue. But when we talk about roadways and public facilities and new transportation links, not just widening or improving a roadway, but actually constructing new routes to and from different destinations, the code also states that a proposed hamlet shall be designed so that it will not create traffic congestion on the arterial or collector roads surrounding the project, or such surrounding collector or arterial roads shall be improved so that they will not adversely be affected. And so part of the analysis that's in the record and for the Board of County Commissioners to consider these types of developments is the traffic volumes, the distribution of where cars and that traffic is expected to navigate to short-term and long-term, and how the development would improve those affected roadways. Again, there's some limitations under Florida statutes as to what the developer might be obligated to, but throughout this process, that's been on the forefront of both staff and the board's inquiry and evaluation of the project. And as presented in the report, there's various improvements or commitments that the developer would be obligated to make over the lifespan of the project. That's why we have the public hearing process and engage the public to provide input as our community, evaluates and considers the future.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. All
Madam
right.
Chair, can you please confirm with the gentleman that he understood that? Did you understand what?
What I can do, they're all done, sir. So what I'll do, they're going to be stepping down from the table. I'll have Corey get with you when he gets down off of here, because they're all done now anyway. So,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Clasby.
just to chime in on that a little bit, because that was pretty technical and like straight from the code. I mean, I kind of heard his question, and it sounded like, police services, deputy service, firefighters, I mean, those costs come to the county and taxpayers. The developer's not going to pay ongoing cost of firefighters and deputies and these sorts of things. So that's one of the things that's with these projects. So while the code does have things in there, like Mr. Benton said about water and these sorts of things, the delivery of services, animal control, what have you, that's taxpayers, as far as I know, right?
General fund, yep.
So obviously, if a development goes in and the houses they build, they pay taxes as well, so they pay for those services too. They're not excluded from those services. They're not excluded from paying from those services. It'd be each individual resident within that development pays as well.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, and with that, we have public safety. Good evening.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Oscar Hance, Emergency Management Division Manager, for the record. This is ordinance number 2026-18, updating Chapter 18 of the County Code, Emergency Management and Emergency Services. This item's been advertised and is here today for public hearing and consideration. The simple purpose is to clean up and modernize Chapter 18 so it matches how emergency management operates today. Whoops, let me go backwards here. The main reason for this update is Chapter 18 currently does not have a dedicated Article 1 for emergency management. There is emergency management language in the chapter, but it is limited and some of it sits in the price gouging section. This ordinance creates a proper emergency management article, cleans up outdated language, and puts the right information in the right place. It also reflects current responsibilities around continuity of operations, training, exercises, and healthcare facility emergency plan review. This ordinance does three main things. First, it creates a new Article 1 for emergency management. Second, it cleans up Article 2 so the price gouging section stays focused on price gouging. And third, it creates a new Article 5 for healthcare facility emergency plan review, training, exercise fees, and certifications. The new Article 1 establishes Emergency Management Division in the code. It defines key terms, clarifies emergency powers, references the county's comprehensive emergency management plan, and adds continuity of operations expectations for county departments. It also reinforces that departments need to identify emergency liaisons, participate in training and exercises, and be prepared to support the EOC when needed. Article 5 deals with healthcare facility emergency plans. These include facilities like hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, adult daycares, surgical centers, and group homes. These facilities are already required by state rules to have emergency plans. This ordinance does not create that state requirement. What it does is establish the county's local process for reviewing those plans, collecting state authorized fees, and issuing training and exercise certificates. The goal is consistency, especially for facilities that serve vulnerable populations. And staff recommends board approval of ordinance 26-18. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Oscar. Are there any questions from the board before I open it up for public comment? This is a public hearing item. Anyone wishing to address the board, now would be the time. Seeing no movement, I'm going to close public comment, come back to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now that concludes public hearings, and we move to our regular agenda items, and starting with County Attorney.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, for the record, Catherine Barbieri, County Attorney. The first item before you is the interlocal agreement between St. Lucie County and the St. Lucie County Water and Sewer District, which is a dependent district of the county, for issuance of Series 2026 non-ad valorem revenue bonds. Pursuant to a county ordinance of 2004, the county established the Water and Sewer District for the purpose of implementing the utility service requirements of the county's comprehensive plan. The district owns utility assets comprising of water and wastewater systems. In order to permit the county and the district to make the most efficient use of their respective powers, resources, the county and the district propose to enter into the attached interlocal agreement to provide for the issuance of the 2026 bonds to refinance certain capital improvements, extensions, expansions, replacements, and upgrades to the water and wastewater system necessary to maintain, improve, and expand the utility services by the district. The interlocal agreement authorizes the transfer of available district system revenues on an annual basis to the county for payment of debt service of the bonds used to finance the Series 2026 project. And unless extended by a mutual agreement or as otherwise provided, the interlocal agreement shall expire upon full payment of the bonds. Staff recommends the board and the district commission to approve the interlocal agreement and authorize the chair to sign the agreement.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Is there a
Move
motion?
approval.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, second one.
Catherine Barbieri, County Attorney again. This is the bond resolution for the item that we were just speaking about before. It's the non-ad valorem revenue bond series 2026. And attached to the agenda item is the bond resolution prepared by the county's bond counsel, Labor, Giblin, and Nickerson. The proceeds of the 2026 bonds will be used for the acquisition and construction of certain capital improvements relating to the water and wastewater system, the 2026 project owned by the St. Lucie County Water and Sewer District, refinancing certain interim indebtedness of the county incurred to finance on an interim basis the 2026 project, capitalizing interest on Series 2026 bonds through December 1, 2027, and paying certain costs of issuance of the series of the 2026 bonds. Staff is recommending the board adopt Resolution 2026-113 and authorize the chair to sign the same.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Move
All right, is there a
approval.
motion? There's a motion. Is there a
Second.
second? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, last item for County Attorney.
Yes, this is reconsideration of APP sublease to JM Aviation and Storage LLC. On June 2nd, 2026, the board approved the APP sublease to JM Aviation and Storage LLC as part of the consent agenda. Following the board approval, a potential voting conflict was identified with respect to this item. In an abundance of caution and to ensure a complete and transparent record, the County Attorney's Office recommends that the board rescind the prior approval of the Fort Pierce FBL DBA AB sublease to JM Aviation from the June 2nd agenda item 12C1 and reconsider the matter as a separate agenda item following the disclosure and abstentions in accordance with the law. This action is intended solely to ensure the integrity of the board's proceedings and eliminate any uncertainty regarding the board's approval of the sublease. I would need like two motions. One would rescind it from the June 2nd, and then one would reapprove it with the abstention today on July 7th.
Madam Chair.
Okay. Commissioner Cosby.
So do you want us to motion to reconsider C1 from June 2nd?
12C1, yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to reconsider 12C1 from the June 2nd, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And then I'm asking that we approve it with the voting conflict disclosed.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner
Ms. Barbary, I need to recuse myself from that vote.
Do we need to open it for public comment?
No, it's not a public item, so she's recused.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve 11A3.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Yep. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and with that, we move into planning for KRE Warehouse. This item is quasi judicial. Commissioner Klasky?
I've met with staff and the applicant.
Staff on this one.
Corey and Ben, and the rest of the planning and development team.
Brad Curry, Michelle Sullivan, staff.
Corey, Ben, Brad, and the applicant.
All right.
Good evening, Chair Fowler and members of the Board of County Commissioners. For the record, my name is Don Ariano, Planner 2 with the Planning and Development Services Department. The applicant is proposing a major site plan to develop a 182,062 square foot general industrial warehouse along the Kings Highway corridor within St. Lucie County. Here's an aerial of the subject property outlined in blue. The 17.69 acre project site is generally located on the east side of Kings Highway and south side of Wallu Way, formerly Road G, which is currently under construction. In September 2023, the Board of County Commissioners approved Resolution 23-163 for a change in zoning for this property from Agricultural 1, AG1, to Industrial Light, IL. The site plan encompasses a 182,062 square foot general industrial warehouse with 52 truck parking spaces and loading docks, 164 standard parking spaces, which include 8 ADA spaces. The site provides 2 full access by Wallu Way, formerly Road G, which is currently under construction. The traffic analysis provided by the applicant states the proposed development will generate the following net new external driveway trips. 186 daily, 32 a.m. peak hour, 22 in, 10 out, and 40 p.m. peak hour, 11 in, 29 out trips per day. Excuse me. Left and right turns are proposed at the project's western primary entrance, and a dedicated right turn lane is proposed at the project's eastern entrance, which is the truck access. The landscape plan provides for a 15-foot landscape buffer along Kings Highway and Wallu Way, and a 10-foot landscape buffer along the east and south property lines. A 1.72 acre portion of the property is being dedicated to the Florida Department of Transportation. 1.79 acres of open space will be provided, and we'll also have 1.17 stormwater, dedicated in stormwater, a 2.2 acre lake, and 1.8 acres of drainage for Wallu Way, dedicated as an existing 60-foot drainage easement. The major site plan conforms to the standards of review as set forth in the St. Lucie County Land Development Code, sections 110207 for major site plans, and is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the St. Lucie County Comprehensive Plan. Staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners approve the major site plan subject to the conditions contained in the draft resolution 2026-125. All Category 1 listed species shall be eradicated from the site. Updated species list in accordance with state and federal law will be provided. An environmental resource permit shall be provided and confirm the limits of the classifications on other surface waters on site. And a site development permit is required prior to performing any improvements. The developer or those successors of the property shall coordinate with FDOT to verify the conveyance of the right-of-way, and a vegetation removal permit or exemption shall be issued by the Environmental Resources Department. that concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you, Don. Any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it. All right. With that, that brings us to commissioner comments. George, I don't know if this would be an appropriate time, but since, we got news of your departure, we have not formally all met. This is the first time, and I want to take this opportunity to see what the majority of the board would like to do personally. We need to come up with an interim county administrator, and I'm going to share with my counterparts that my vote would be for Maite. I have talked to her. She is willing to step up into the interim. As of now, she shared that's where she'd like to stop, is that interim. But we also had an assistant county attorney that wasn't sure she wanted the position either. So we'll just let it simmer and have time. But anyway, I wanted to kind of see what the appetite of the board was, just so we have some sort of continuity and some surety, so that's not this big looming question.
So,
Is
Madam
that
Chair,
okay, George? Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Madam Chair, obviously, you guys can discuss it tonight. Whatever the will of the board is and consensus of the board is, we can have the county attorney prepare an item for the next board meeting for ratification of whatever this conversation is tonight. But we would like to see it through a formal process.
Understood.
Madam
Madam
Chair.
Chair. Commissioner Clasby and then Commissioner Townsend.
I had a conversation with George, and I told him that, we have to accept his resignation first. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that I've also had a conversation with Maite, and I think that she would be a great interim, and, see kind of where it goes from there. I have more comments, but just to stay on this subject, that's good for now.
Commissioner Townsend.
So, Catherine, again, this is a legal question to you. Since this is not an agenda item, can it be discussed in a formal vote taken tonight, or should this be added to the next meeting so that there can be discussion?
I would recommend, obviously you can discuss it under commissioner comments, but any formal vote, I would add an agenda item for there to be a formal vote at the next meeting.
Correct. This is a polling, correct. Just like anything else under commissioner comments. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Lowry.
I'm going to say I haven't opened the envelope yet, so I'm not accepting it, but just saying. I think my table do a fabulous job, and look forward to seeing where things go after that. But George, we're going to miss you. I've got big shoes to fill.
Indeed. Any other thoughts from
Madam Chair,
Commissioner
I'm
Lee?
in agreement also. Obviously talked to Maite and the other staff members, and I think that'd be a great interim, and we'll see what happens in the interim.
Okay. Commissioner Townsend?
No, I'm fine with the interim. I just wanted to make sure we were doing it the right way, and we weren't discussing it tonight, and then it just be on the next meeting for rectification. It needs to be a formal vote.
Correct.
Because it wasn't done. But when you're done, I do have a couple other comments I'd like to make.
Absolutely. So that concludes that then, so you guys have direction on that, and I'll just come right to left and go right ahead.
So I want to begin with introducing my intern that's been with me for a couple of weeks, and she's going to be here the rest of the summer, and she's going to then be attending Tallahassee Law School, Aaliyah, and she's doing a great job, and you heard the young man speak earlier. So she's a part of a wonderful group of Boys and Girls Club in the TCC. And then the other thing I would like to ask is, we are still blocking people from not being seen under public comment. I'd like to have this added to an informal meeting. I think the actions of one person that was wrong should not set the standards for everybody else moving forward. It comes down to people have the right to be heard and to be seen. So I'd like to have that put on an informal meeting to discuss that. Other than that, I hope everybody had a great 4th. Thanks.
Commissioner Lee, anything?
I have no comments.
Commissioner Lowry, anything?
I'm good.
Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Clasby?
Yeah, so I don't often give compliments to people. I'll admit that. But I do want to give our Office of Management and Budget and County Administration all of the compliments in the world on the putting together of the budget book this year. I had a lot of criticisms of the way the budget process went last year. the lack of information that had historically been in our county budgets. But this year, they really have gone above and beyond with putting line item budgets in the actual budget book. And for everybody listening at home, it's available online, stlucieco.gov. You can access the current proposed FY27 budget right online. It shows a full line item breakdown in the budget book. It shows budget by fund. Everything is in there. And if you don't know how to read a budget book, you can always plug it in ChatGPT and start asking it questions, just throwing that out there. But be careful because it's not always correct. And so just wanted to say thank you to our OMB department and county admin for taking the initiative, listening to what was said by the whole board really, and really knocking it out of the park. There are a couple things I would like to see added, but hey, it's a tremendous, great leap forward in that, and I'm very grateful.
Perfect. All right, and with that, over to you, George, for upcoming meetings.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. In addition, tonight we'll be spending a lot of time together here in the very near future.
Yes.
Starting at 1 p.m. tomorrow here in these chambers, we will start our budget workshops. It'll run tomorrow 1 p.m. Up to 5 p.m. if needed, and then on Thursday, July 9th, and Friday, July 10th, from 9 a.m. until up to 5 p.m. if needed. We also had locked in some days the following week, if needed, to continue on, which would be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, July 13th, 14th, and 15th, starting at 9 a.m. on any of those days. However, if we get finished beforehand, we don't have to, come back for any of those days unless you guys really want to. Aside from that, the next formal meeting will be held on Tuesday, July 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in these commission chambers located at 2300 Virginia Avenue, and Eric will close out on the announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. And just for the record, those budget workshops will be televised for the first time starting tomorrow or Wednesday afternoon. St. Lucie County's Parks and Recreation's Rec and Roll program will once again host Back to School Splash Jams July 27th, 28th, and 29th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at all 3 public pools. These free family-friendly events feature swimming, music, games, activities, and free food while giving families a fun way to wrap up summer before school starts. They take place Monday, July 27th at the Ravenswood Pool in Port St. Lucie, Tuesday, July 28th at the Boatwright Pool in Fort Pierce, and Wednesday, July 29th at the Lakewood Park Pool up in the Lakewood Park area. For more information, residents can visit our website to see all of our aquatics programs at stlucieco.gov/aquatics.
All right, thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.